What's going on, everybody? C4, welcome back to the channel. Today we're here for a new Madden 23 rebuild where we're going to be rebuilding the Tennessee Titans, going 5 years with Madden-generated draft classes to try and build a super team to win a Super Bowl. Now, the preseason is literally been over for half hour, and one of the names, even though they don't turn the lights on when you look at it, but one of the names people are talking about from this preseason that we just think sky's the limit is Malik Willis, the draft pick of the Tennessee Titans out of Liberty, the rookie, who possesses, as it relates to Madden, it definitely correlates to real life, 94 throw power. We got 92 speed, 93 acceleration. Those are like Michael Vick-esque stats. And, the potential is there. The flash plays he was showing in this preseason. I want to rebuild a team around Malik Willis. Can we build a team around Malik Willis here in Tennessee to win a Super Bowl? And we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do with Ryan Tannehill. We'll throw him up on the trade block, see what we can get in return. They're going to be eating a massive cap hit, but I just cannot burn one of the 5 years of development here in Malik Willis. He got to develop, he got to play from day one. So before we get into the rest of the team previews, guys, you have been absolutely crushing our like goals of 1,000 likes per video and leaving comments in the comment section below about what team you want to see rebuild next. All those two things combined seem to make the YouTube robots happy. I don't like asking that stuff. I hate doing the YouTuber stuff, but I got it because that helps me, and that's all I ask for in return. You guys have been absolutely crushing it, so thank you very much for all of that. So looking at our roster, yes, we're going to be going with Malik Willis over Ryan Tannehill. And I mean, we can still get pretty decent value, I think, from Ryan Tannehill. He's 34, which is the new 30 for quarterbacks. He's 83 with a start ev, and he's an upgrade over, you could almost argue like half the teams in the NFL. Maybe not quite half, but around there. So I think we'll get some decent value. We get Derrick Henry at running back, a healthy Derrick Henry. But for a 5-year rebuild, he is 28, so it's going to be something to monitor his regression, as he's likely pretty close to his ceiling at this point. But I think we'll definitely be able to go through the full 5 years and have Derrick Henry be an absolute monster. We have Bobby Trees coming over from the Rams. I think that's a decent wide receiver one, but much like, Derrick Henry, 30. He's at his ceiling most likely for this rebuild. How long will he be able to hold on to that rating? How productive will he be? I think in real life it's a great signing. I think he's an underrated wide receiver, and he's great for the scheme because he has no problem at all blocking. But for Madden, 30, the age kind of hurts a little bit. We have some youth. We have Phillips, the rookie, good slot wide receiver, Westbrook here as well. But the big pick is Treylon Burks. You basically have extra salary cap in Treylon Burks instead of having A.J. Brown. Massive shoes to fill. It's unfortunate that he's going to always be compared to A.J. Brown. I think he's a great player. You can use him like a Deebo Samuel. He's not like Deebo, but you can use him like a Deebo. The Titans offense can get creative, find a bunch of different ways to get Treylon Burks involved. And I think he should develop nicely. Now, it is unfortunate that he got the normal dev, much like Malik Willis, but I think both those guys will play well together, and they will go up dev trait as we go through this rebuild. I did not know Austin Hooper went to the Tennessee Titans, but the more you know, and I'm a little optimistic. This could be like the Jacksonville Jaguars rebuild, where we had Evan Ingram, who's about the same age, same dev, absolutely go off and develop into an X factor. So I hope that's going to be the case here. Titans seem like an offense that do want to, really get the tight end involved. On the offense, what I think I'm actually going to do in terms of changes, get the veteran Luan. Ben Jones is solid. Nate Davis probably has the most upside out of everybody on this offensive line, 25 years old with that start at 77. That's a pretty high ceiling. We have Reduns at right tackle and Nicholas Petit-Frere, rookie out of Ohio State. I think at 6'5", 315. I think Reduns fits the profile of the tackle that we're looking for a little bit, but I want to put NPF here at left guard. I feel like we're just getting our highest ceiling offensive line at this point on the field right now, and that's all that really matters, especially for the early developments of Malik Willis. Now that we're committing to Malik Willis, while playoffs are still on the table, it's going to be a year or two for us to get this team right. So I might as well give Reduns and NPF here a couple opportunities to get some major growth to the ratings and see if they can be our long-term solutions there on the offensive line. Defensively, we are led by, there's some legit star power here. Jeff Simmons is an absolute monster. Kevin Byard at free safety. He's made the Pro Bowl. He's been a ball hawk. You have Harold Landry, who's pretty good. Byard's, what is he, 30? He's 30? 29. So kind of like some of our best offensive players at that ceiling in terms of development, but hopefully he holds on to that. Jeff Simmons just starting to enter his prime, though. He's going to be probably the biggest piece out of everyone that's on this defense right now. Harold Landry, 26. Decent pass rusher. Zach Cunningham, solid. Maybe need to find a long-term partner with him on the middle of our defense. Bud Dupree, 70. Does 74 seem a little low for Bud Dupree? I don't know. Titan fans, let me know. We have Amani Hooker at safety. He's, what is he, 24, 25? 24 with that start ev. So he has a particularly high ceiling. Would love for him to be one of those guys that pops that superstar And I think he could maintain that for the amount of the rebuild here. Secondary, we have Fulton, Roger McCreary, good draft pick there out of Auburn, and Caleb Farley, who from a height weight, really like as pink slippy of a corner that exists. 75 star dev, 23 years old at Virginia Tech, 6'2", 95 speed, 95 acceleration, 93 agility, terrific athlete, definitely has the, a great set of attributes that could develop into a shutdown corner. You know what I'm saying? Like once he gets the technical side of it, athletically, he can match up against just about anybody in the NFL. But I am a little bit worried that the other two corners that I think have somewhat of a decent upside don't have any dev traits yet. So maybe that'll be something we take a look at. But I think the roughest thing right now for this team, no disrespect to Outry, is the front three outside of Jeff Simmons. So I will say I'm going to see if we can move Tannehill in, and if we can, someone that can improve that front three of that defensive line a little bit, get Jeff Simmons a little bit of help, but that is our team. So let's see what happens with the Ryan Tannehill deal, then we can get ready for year one. So I went into the trade finder, and I just made a little bit better an offer that I was going to accept. There were some pretty bad ones in there, I'm going to be honest, but you don't need to see those. They were stupid. I could get superstar level players for Ryan Tannehill. But I did get an offer from the Commanders, which was Kendall Fuller, who's 27 years old, 88 star dev corner, and their second round pick. And I was like, that's kind of in the area that I'd be like, all right, that's a little bit better value there. So let's keep that second round pick, but instead of taking an 87 corner, 88, whatever he is, still 20, kind of in his prime, we'll get William Jackson, who's also, at least pulls a star dev. He's 29 years old, 83, so he's at his ceiling, much like Ryan Tannehill, and it's just like a straight swap, and you're getting a plus 10 upgrade over Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, 73 overall. Ryan Tannehill, 83 overall. I think both teams pretty damn happy with this deal. So in the opening game of the 2022 season, clearly we are going to hop in and get on the sticks, see how Malik Willis's NFL debut goes. We got to beat the Giants, so it's a very winnable matchup. Get 2+ passing touchdowns with Malik Willis. Sounds doable. And I do think with the state of the team, with the quarterback, we'll go 7 wins. Maybe be an outside type wildcard team here in year one. There we go. Right into the Wolves. That's how we open. We're already down 14. But we finally get a goddamn completion. There is the first completion. And that is a great one. It's letting you know what you're in store for in today's video. Malik Willis, Treylon Burks. And hopefully just not playing from behind. Bobby Trees against the linebacker. I will take that matchup. Blake Martinez on Robert Woods. There you have it. Malik Willis' first touchdown, and it won't come a lot easier than that. After a holding penalty, we're getting a touchdown. I don't care what they do. How do they try to pay off? It comes that easy. Bobby Trees sits one down for you. Ties it up at 21. Second touchdown. We got a Derrick Henry touchdown in between there as we go in tied 21. Did the Titans play any defense, though? Bail out your rookie quarterback. He's playing pretty damn well offensively. Oh, the Quez Watkins play still exists. I gotta get that play in my Panthers franchise. Treylon Burks eats up. I want to try to get 3 touchdowns to play it safe. It said 2+. Like, you need 2+. Man, that doesn't count, though, I don't think. I think they said passing as well. God damn it! All right, let's try it again. We have a chance to get that 3rd touchdown here. Nice, juicy slant play. Treylon Burks. Touchdown 3 for Malik Willis. And an opening day victory over the Giants. Terrible showing by the Titans defense. Needs to be said. Malik Willis finishes the day with 284 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Derrick Henry went for $124. And the Giants offense puts up 45 points. We absolutely crushed it. We can either get XP or attribute. Give me the XP, man. Better be 20,000. 2,500, what a ripoff. So we had a big hit on the defensive side of the ball. We actually had 2 scenarios. First of 2 was Harold Landry, who went from star up to a superstar, plus 8,000 XP in a convincing loss, honestly, against the Commanders, 42-21. We also had Christian Fulton. Unfortunately, he did not hit. But I will take a superstar for Harold Landry every day of the week, especially in year 1 of this rebuild. All right, this could be pretty big news. Right ahead of, honestly, where I would start to talk about contract extensions, Malik Willis pops a quarterback dev trade scenario for him to get off normal dev, get up to a star dev. He has to throw 1 or fewer interceptions and 300 scrimmage yards or 3 touchdowns against the Broncos. He needs this. The Titans fall to the Broncos 48-30. But I think we had a big performance out of our quarterback, Malik Willis. His dev trait is now up to a star def. And if we can get him Offensive Rookie of the Year, good things are only going to happen. And he just barely got it. 306 yards, 2 touchdowns to Russell Wilson's 504. Blech. For our contract extensions, we don't have a crazy amount of cap room. We currently sit at $40 million, and there's really the big 3. No disrespect to Kern or Westbrook, but you know, I think really we should focus on these 3. First up, Amani Hooker, 4-year, might be able to get that done. Might have to come back to it. Yes, he takes that. He's happy to be here. Great. Nate Davis next up. I don't know how he's always a free agent. Clearly, you want to keep that guy in the building. I probably couldn't even give him a 5-year. Lastly, we have Austin Hooper. I'm gonna wait and see if he has like a breakout. If he gets superstar or something crazy and actually pulls a Evan Ingram like we saw in the Jags rebuild, we will re-sign him. Maybe I'll pay a little bit extra, but I'd rather wait and see what that production looks like come the end of the season before we commit to him for another 4 years. At the end of year 1, we finished 6-11, last place in the South. You know, it was a rebound. I tell you what. This is a little bit of a worry of mine. But I'll be full disclosure. I'm going to give this Titans offense one. I just feel like the Titans offense is a bad offense, like a sim offense. I don't want to live and die by the Titans offense. So I'm going to give it one more year, and if it doesn't work, I'm going to go to the Eagles offense. I feel like the Eagles offense could play out very, very well here in Tennessee. It's not like we're going to the Bucks or the Chiefs or something that's a juggernaut, but we'll give it one more year, and if not, I feel like the Eagles offense might cater towards Malik Willis a little bit, and we'll just act like, you know, Mike Vrabel poached Brian Johnson, the quarterback coach of the Eagles, to become their new offensive coordinator. Brian Johnson, hot name, man. He was really, really good at Florida, University of Florida. You know, and maybe he wants to bring him into Malik Willis. Put that into storyline context if we want to move on to that Eagles playbook in year 3. But, I mean, that's not brutal numbers. 4,200 yards, 16 touchdowns, 16 picks for Malik Willis. You got to figure this was a sub-70 overall quarterback, up to a 74 star. I don't think he'll get a dev trade unless we get offensive rookie there, which he might, all things considered. Outstanding year from Derrick Henry, 1,900 yards, 13 touchdowns. And again, referencing that Eagles playbook, we're not really maximizing the scrambling ability of Malik Willis here with this Titans offense. So, you know, I don't want to hesitate too much to try to rebuild this offense and maximize the talent that we have under center in Malik Willis. Treylon Burks led the team with 72 catches, 967 yards, 9 touchdowns. That's a pretty good rookie season. 9-5 for Bobby Trees, 790 yards, 6 touchdowns for Kyle Phillips, another rookie pass catcher, almost 800 yards and 6 touchdowns. Austin Hooper and Derrick Henry, just a machine, 620 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns. So Derrick Henry goes for 2,500 total yards, 20 total touchdowns. One hell of a year from that monster. Defensively, Zach Cunningham led the team with 125 tackles, $110 for David Long. On the defensive side, massive year for our new superstar pass rusher, Harold Landry III. We got the 19 TFLs on 89 tackles, 13.5 sacks is pretty ridiculous. 7.5 sacks, 13 TFLs is not too bad from Jeff Simmons. Hope that's kind of his floor for this rebuild. On the interception front, 4 picks for Caleb Farley, 4 for Byard, 4 for William Jackson. You might think the draft pick was the better part of that trade that we did with the Commanders, but William Jackson, very productive in his first season here with the Tennessee Titans. And let's look at the very important yearly awards. If we get Offensive Rookie of the Year for Malik Willis, most likely he will be a superstar going into our second season, and that would be freaking awesome. Looking at the AFC Offensive Player, that goes to Nick Chubb. Derrick Henry was the runner-up. Defensive Player, that goes to Von Miller. This is the moment of truth. Yes, Malik Willis, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Treylon Burks coming in at number 3. Kyle Phillips rounding out the top 5. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Derek Stingley. Do we have anybody? I don't think. Oh, yeah, baby. That is exactly what we are looking for here. Malik Willis popped the dev in season and most likely just played himself into a superstar upgrade. That's a win of year 1, even regardless of the 6-11 record. So the recap of year 1, the Bills defeated the Rams 45-27 in the Super Bowl. Josh Allen is your MVP. But more importantly, Who went up dev trade? Who went down dev trade for the Tennessee Titans? The good news, Malik Willis is now a superstar. 74 overall. Got a long ways to go still in terms of development, but that superstar dev is going to help us get there a little bit easier as long as he has that dev trade. Defensively, it's a mixed bag. The bad, Jeff Simmons went from superstar down to a star. Didn't have a ridiculous year. It was kind of expected that could potentially happen. William Jackson went from star up to a superstar. Kevin Byard went from superstar to X Factor. Harold Landry got the double dev trade scenario upgrade in season, much like Malik Willis, as he started as a star and he finishes as an X Factor. So, I mean, I can't really complain about Jeff Simmons. Bud Dupree lost his star dev, but I think all things considered, I ain't complaining. I'll take those. I want to try to be aggressive in our first free agency, even though we did take a decent ding to our salary cap trading Ryan Tannehill. We still ultimately for this team going forward are going to be building around trying to be successful while Malik Willis is on his rookie deal. So for that, we're going to try to be aggressive and we're going to look at our top 3 targets here in free agency. First up, Daron Payne. I actually think at 320 we'll bring him in as our defensive tackle in our front 3. I got Dawson Knox at tight end. I had a couple options there. It was really either between Dawson Knox, I think Mike Gesicki was the other potential option, but I just feel like Dawson Knox is much more of a Titan style. Like, he can block a little bit, I guess, even though they are both on the more receiving side of things. And then trying to go for a little bit of a value pick here at linebacker. We got Chris Barnes, who does have a star dev, is only 25 years old. So let's see what happens here on the first wave. We're able to get Daron Payne and Chris Barnes, but we still have to wait on Dawson Knox just a little bit. The Arizona Cardinals up their offer. He still decided to come to the Titans. That is a terrific start to this. Now we got the 8th pick, I believe, in the first round. Let's hit a home run with that. I'm going to probably target between edge rusher, a defensive end on the other side of Jeff Simmons. Maybe we'll explore an offensive tackle. All right, tell you right now, we're not going tackle, as Malcolm Hayden at pick 7 of the Dolphins was my first option at pick 8. Honestly, I think I might trade back. There's like no edge that's even projected to go in the first round. And really, the pick that I think I would make right now would be this one. Alonzo McIntyre, who's all B's. Combine looked fairly decent here. 6 in the 40, top 5 in the bench. We got 6 in the 3-cone, 8th in the shuttle at his pro day. So, I mean, he looks like he's going to be a pretty decent player. We'll be able to start him at defensive end, but I'm not making a top 10 pick. I'll see if we can trade back down and get some additional picks here. We're going to accept the Philadelphia Eagles offer. We're going to trade down a couple spots, pick up an additional 2nd-round pick and 6th. And we'll grab our guy. I'm a little worried there won't be a dev trade here, but there also might be for Alonzo McIntyre, and there is our new starting defensive end, sorry, Danico Autry. We have a rough draft board here. We're back around. We have 2 2nd-round picks. I think the best pick right now is this center, Adam Barton, and I suppose Ben Jones is like 31. He's getting over an age you could get a successor. Or, you know, if we didn't get Daron Payne, this guy looks great. Andrew Ramirez got a 1st-round grade, fully scouted, A tackle, 46 reps on the bench press. I almost guarantee this guy's a depth chart. We just don't need it on our front 3 on 4, unless we want to. Even then, no, we can't change schemes. So it's the nature of the beast. If we're going to go into BPA, we have Jimmy Wentz out of LSU. Also looks pretty damn good. Maybe we can get him to challenge Zach Cunningham. S tier. So, I mean, there's 2 really good options here. That'd be probably the way that I would like to get our first. I'd get both of them, even though they're not position need. I think they're BPA. So we'll start with the center, and maybe we'll be aggressive to try to get that linebacker named Wentz, a different type. But we got our new successor to Ben Jones at center, hidden dev Adam Barton. So I moved up 7 spots in the 2nd round, threw on a 5th-round pick with the Detroit Lions so that we could secure the services of the new Wentz in the AFC South. I bet you this guy's going to be a dev as well. That's how you start this out, man. We get the dev trait for our quarterback. We get, there's no way, I'm hyping it up. There's no way this guy's not going to be a hidden dev player. There's absolutely, I always like talking about the misses. And this is just before we even can, like, you know, dap up our own draft class. Ramirez was the 46-rep bench press D tackle we were talking about. I was like, man, if we didn't get Daron Payne, we would get him. 75. Look away. Look away. We had him scouted. Oh. So McIntyre is hidden dev. I mean, we could even argue that we should have got, we could have got Ramirez and went somewhere different than D tackle. He could have just been our D tackle, then we moved Deron Payne to one of the defense. Either way, we gotta live with it and hope that one of these guys pops an X factor. You must be wishful thinking here. Barton, our center, 73 hidden dev. Wentz, who I thought for sure was going to be a dev trait guy, he's 71, but still looks like a terrific athlete. Maybe can compete, with Zach Cunningham. More so if Zach Cunningham's contract comes up, maybe we let it go and we go with Wentz. Got a tackle here. Look at this, fullback in the 7th round, 75. Highest rated fullback I've seen drafted so far, and for a team that actually uses a fullback. Year 2 for the Tennessee Titans, and we are excited to start off with superstar Malik Willis. It is going to be a challenge for him, however, to maintain that ability. I think if he plays like he did last year, we'll be on the cusp of him potentially losing this dev trait. So hopefully, takes this game to the next level. This Titans playbook works. We don't need to get creative and maybe take a look at the Eagles or alternative playbooks, and Malik Willis can crush it this year. But we do have at least an escape plan. Barton, our 2nd round pick center, I'm a little worried if he doesn't play, he's going to lose that dev trait. So we'll give him the start at guard, even though I think still the long-term plan would be if Jones retires, Barton will move into center, and obviously we continue the development of NPF as our left guard. On the defensive side, we signed Deron Payne in free agency to make up a very good front three. McIntyre, 1st-round draft pick, will get the start at defensive end. We won't bring up the draft pick that could have been. We'll just be happy with what we have right now in the front three. William Jackson, Farley, and Fulton make up our corners. We have Byard, Landry as our 2 new X factors. Barnes comes in free agency. He's going to be the partner there with Zach Cunningham in the middle of defense. We'll see if this Wentz guy, who should have had a dev but didn't have a dev, can develop nicely as well. Hooker there at safety. Ultimately, this absolutely is a fringe playoff team. I'm just excited to see what year 2 Malik Willis looks like. So much like last year, we'll set our goal 7 wins. Hopefully, this is easily achievable. Year 2 contract extensions for the Titans. Well, we have Ben Jones' replacement already on the roster, so I'm not overly concerned about that. I mean, give Taylor Luana 1 year if you'll take that. Okay, great. Well, we've been scouting our tackles. Fulton at corner. That seems like a reasonable contract, all things considered. He's only 24. So still a fairly high ceiling. William Jackson's kind of a veteran, but I mean, I think we got decent return on that trade with the Commanders, with Tannehill, but I'm not in a rush to pay William Jackson. He's probably going to lose that dev. Jeff Simmons, even though he did lose the dev, kind of the opposite. I think he's quite the special player, so we'll give him a 4-year deal. And lastly, we have Derrick Henry, who obviously, just out of the respect of the Titan fans that may be watching this video, I'll keep him till he retires, obviously. Okay, don't click off. Trust me. I'm not going to get rid of him. He's here till he retires. Year 2 finishes with a ridiculous 13-4 record, winning the AFC South. Last place, and it got to be the defense. Defense had to be the only thing that switched. We had some pretty big victories, but they were all, the upsets. The teams we were beating were pretty good, but there was nothing that was too ridiculous in terms of 30, 40, 50, 60 points. Like you see, occasional big game. A lot of them was our defense, really keeping us in it, which is absolute kudos to those guys. Deron Payne coming in. We finished with the #1 defense in the NFL, 9th in passing yards, 4th in rushing yards. Also, a top 5 rushing offense, which makes you a little worried to see what the stat line for Malik Willis was. Yikes! See, now this is a tough one where it's all right, if we move to the Eagles playbook, it's going to probably help out Malik Willis, but this Titans playbook was pretty damn good. We were one of the best teams in the NFL. So do we take Malik Willis's success into account, or do we take the team's success into account when we're trying to decide what kind of playbook we rock and roll with here? Because obviously we go to Philly, Derrick Henry's not going to get the volume. 1,700 yards, 14 touchdowns. Great year. We had 87 catches, 1,100 yards, and only 1 touchdown for Treylon Burks. 1,000 yards for Bobby Tree, 7 tutties. 9-5 for Kyle Phillips, 7-8 for Dawson Knox. Defensively, Chris Barnes led the team, 129 tackles, 7 TFLs, 4.5 sacks. Very productive year from him. 15.5 sacks from Harold Landry, 7 from Deron Payne, 5.5 for McIntyre, 5 for Jeff Simmons. I'd like to see those up a little bit. And Desmond Trufant, who I straight up only signed because I had 2 spots left on my roster and I wanted the mentor tag, somehow leads our team with 3 picks, even though he was our 4th corner. Yearly awards, MVP goes to Josh Allen. Thought Derrick Henry might have had a chance there. And then for the rest of the individual awards, wow. Hey, there we go. Harold Landry. I mean, he already got the X Factor. At least that means he won't likely be regressing. But now it is time to take one of our S-tier defenses. Can we stop the cheat code Patrick Mahomes threw for 39 touchdowns this year? This is going to be a tough assignment, and it was a tough assignment. Malik Willis' playoff debut does not go ideally the way we would have wanted it to, as we lose in overtime to the Kansas City Chiefs. Malik Willis did everything he can, outdueled Patrick Mahomes. It's a good start, man. We'll be back year 3 better than ever. 2023 finishes with the Green Bay Packers beating the Raiders 42-30. Aaron Rodgers wins the MVP, but for our Tennessee Titans, as you know, we look to we need 1 or 2 pieces. I think we can get over the top because this team is ready to go on a run, especially with that defense playing the way it did. Obviously, Barton, our center, a hidden dev center, successor to Ben Jones, pops with the rare superstar alignment. All right, we got our Jason Kelce right here for the Tennessee Titans. No other dev trait changes on the offensive side. Defensively, mixed bag, you know, aka nothing. Chris Barnes lost his star dev. Kevin Byard lost his X Factor. Will Jackson lost his superstar. Not good for one of the best units in the NFL. We'll swing for the fences here in free agency. Our sacks have never been up to par. Oh, we got him! I think I've missed out on Rashawn Gary in 2 previous rebuilds, but we land him here with Tennessee. Him on one side. The other side is going to be Harold Landry, Jeff Simmons. One of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the AFC, just got even better. And lastly, before the draft, kind of an interesting 5th-year option decision. We have Caleb Farley, who's been solid. I feel like there's still upside there, but has he got like an immediate, yes, we got to give him his 5th-year option? I don't know if he's earned that yet, but I'm more so just doing this because of the upside. We're going to try to improve the offensive line here. Looking at Aries Berry from Clemson. Got the 3 A's across the board. The B, run block, combine. The strength is a little worrisome, but the athleticism looks really great. So you're kind of trading off for the athlete that hopefully can work on the power side, get on an NFL strength and conditioning program, even though this guy looks 34, not 22. Check that guy's ID. All right, I got a bite. Wide receiver, I'm interested. Look at this guy. Stats look like dog shit. C catching traffic, C catching, D deep route running, D release. Yet he's a round 1 talent at wide. Like, does he just have a superstar dev trait? That has to be something. There has to be something there. Then we go back-to-back years getting hidden dev centers. Leaves Gabe Gator at 6'4", 310, a little bit bigger. I think we get some flexibility to move him around the offensive line, but we are very much retooling this offensive line for the back end of this rebuild. Just stacking them at this point. Channing Fox. He's going to move inside a middle linebacker for us. 90 acceleration, 85 speed. I straight up got him because he had B zone coverage, A tackle, A pursuit in the old abilities that we had scouted for him. Very easy pick. So here's a look at our draft recap. First round, hidden dev right tackle Barry. We got hidden dev wide receiver Peel, who was shocking, honestly. I couldn't believe it. Like, our scouting said, trust this. I guess, the catching and all that stuff with our boost looks good. And if we didn't have those in place, he would look a little bit rougher around the edges. But still, did not expect 75 hidden dev for a guy whose stats look pretty crap. Gabe Gardner's listed as a center, but he's just kind of be a hidden dev, versatile lineman. Channing Fox, 69 hidden dev. We're going to move him inside the middle linebacker. Rest of the draft, we got depth at safety, punter. Got a kicker, and I have a little bit of kicker battle. There's 2 kickers I couldn't decide. The first one wasn't too impressive. Second one wasn't much better. Maybe we'll have to hit the open market for our kicker. Let's take a look at our Titans team as we go into year 3 offensively. This is going to be our last year with the Titans offensive playbook if things don't start to turn it around. Just because, again, we're failing to really utilize the scrambling ability of Malik Willis, and that's just, why would you want to do that? Let's maximize that. Derrick Henry is starting to regress. He's at that point, but he's still 98. I'm not overly worried. He's going to go the full 5. Woods, Burks, Kyle Phillips. We got Key Peel here at wide receiver. Actually, what's his name? Kenny Peel, hidden dev. Greatest, worst pick of all time. Let's be completely honest. Offensive line, we've completely reshaped the left-hand side. The Taylor Lewan era is over. We're going Barry and Gardner. Would love for one of these guys to pop a superstar dev like Barton did, but very optimistic this offense is going to put it together. Speaking of devs, I actually missed it. McIntyre lost his dev. The one rule that we have with dev trait regression is rookies will never lose their dev trait. So McIntyre did lose his dev trait last year in his rookie season, so we fixed that, giving him back star. If he loses it this year, so so be it. I just feel like rookies losing dev traits, that's kind of lame. So we corrected that. That front three, very optimistic. They are going to dominate this year. We have Barnes and Cunningham there in the middle. Landry, X Factor, bringing in Rashawn Gary from the Green Bay Packers. I think we're going to have an outstanding pass rush this season. Hooker and Byard still doing their thing. At safety, Farley, Fulton, and McCreary are our corners. So that's really our day one corners. They're back here again here in year 3. So last year our defense was S tier. Our offense was average. Let's fix that. Let's put it all together. And our goal here, year 3, make the playoffs. Looking at our contract extension, we have $41 million. Reduns is kind of, regressed into the swing tackle role. Don't really need to pay for that. Molden's depth. We have depth at linebacker. Kevin Byard's really the only player I want to re-extend here. And I feel like we'll give him player friendly. Is it outrageous to call him, I don't know, a Titan great at this point in his career? We're not going to let him walk. Year 3 comes to an end. The Titans with an 11-6 record are your AFC South champions. And I think we just have to ride with the Titans playbook. We'll have a second rebuild eventually. We'll realistic rebuild the Titans. Maybe then we can explore it. But we're winning. I don't need not every rebuild needs to be like, let's go to a better playbook to get better stats. If we're still winning, that's just the way the Titans are gonna win, right? Look at the big picture here. We have Derrick Henry, second leading rusher in terms of yards, just shy of 2,000, which is absolutely sensational. Looking at the rest of our stats, Malik Willis, it's not bad. 3,900 passing yards, 34 touchdowns, 9 picks, 65% completion percentage. He is definitely refining himself as a quarterback. 1,900 yards, 14 touchdowns for Derrick Henry. Just, we just need Hassan Haskins stats to be Malik Willis's one. That's how this would be a perfect offense. On the receiving front, Treylon Burks, great year, 91 catches, 1,200 yards, 5 touchdowns, up from 1 a year ago. 9-6 Bobby Trees, 8-10 for Kyle Phillips, 5-4 Dawson Knox, 6 receiving touchdowns for Derrick Henry. What a monster. Chris Barnes led the team, 126 tackles. We got 12.5 sacks from Harold Landry, 8 from Rashawn Gary. Not really getting the immediate return on investment there for how much money we paid him on the open market, but it's also, that's probably the floor I'd like to see. 3 picks. Christian Fulton leading the team. Taking a look at the yearly awards. MVP goes to Russell Wilson into the AFC. Looking for some Tennessee Titans that may be going up in depth traits. We had nothing. That's unfortunate. That's probably the only downside. So if we stay on this Titans playbook, I don't think we can really ever hope that Malik Willis be in that MVP conversation. That's fine. Not every quarterback of every rebuild needs to be an MVP candidate. We're going to win with this freaking boy. Look at that playoff victory. Who says you can't score points? Put up 49 on the Denver Broncos, and that is your first Malik Willis playoff. And look at that. He crushed it. 272 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. 154 yards, 3 touchdowns for Derrick Henry. Absolutely ridiculous. Defensively, got a sack from Rashawn Gary, got a couple picks. Molden and Roger McCreary as the Titans are a game. Oh, look at this one. I'm sure they're going to like this. They're going to say, oh, look, it's a battle of 2 running backs and quarterbacks. No, these guys are studs. Let's see what they can do. We're the better team. I'm optimistic our defense will be the decider in this matchup, and it is low scoring, 21-16, and your Titans here in year 3 are a Josh Allen victory away. Steal it from him from going to the Super Bowl. Malik Willis wasn't the best. Luckily, Derrick Henry was pretty damn good. We also got 2 vultures there. Hassan Haskins chipping in. Bobby Trees was their leading receiver. Sack and a half for Rashawn. Rashawn Gary wasn't anything impressive, but he's crushed it here in the first 2 playoff games, and that's obviously, often the times what you need. Looking at the other side, I can only imagine that game ever happening in real life. I'll tell you that right now. I always want to see that happen because that'll probably be the most intense game of my freaking life. Here we go. The AFC Championship game. It is the 87 overall Buffalo Bills, the 88 overall Tennessee Titans. They have the better offense. We have the better defense. Who is going to the Super Bowl? And it's not going to be us. 31-13. We fall offensively. Just 13 points is not good enough. Touchdown and a pick from Malik Willis. They shut down, to an extent, Derrick Henry. Damn. So close. The only good thing that happened this season is that this was the Super Bowl. I will absolutely take a 37-0 Bills over the Cowboys Super Bowl. For our squad, it relates to dev traits as we gear for the offseason. Give us a clear picture of where we need to go in free agency of the draft. On the offensive side of the ball, Robert Woods lost his star dev. Treylon Burks has firmly moved into that wide receiver 1 role. We got Peel, hidden dev, came out as a star. Our 2 linemen with hidden dev both came out as a star, which is, it just is what it is. We're going to let Duns hit free agency, and we'll go NPF there at right tackle. At least that'll be the play. Maybe we look there at free agency, just getting an upgrade straight up at right tackle. Defensively, as far as dev traits, Bayard lost his superstar. He's down to a star. Rashawn Gary went up to an X Factor, even though I didn't think he had a particularly strong season. I'm not going to complain. We need as much star power as you possibly can have on the defensive side of the football. For free agency, we're going full Gator bias. About time we show some love to the kicker position, Evan McPherson, and we got Kadarius Toney. I think, let's spend a little bit of money. Let's invest at wide receiver. Let's give Malik Willis something that's a little different, especially with the aggression of Robert Woods. So we're able to land McPherson and Kadarius Toney, both superstar dev, Florida Gators. Last piece of business, even though he has no dev, he's still been our best receiver the last 2 years, so we are going to pick up the 5th-year option on Treylon Burks. So I kind of went all in on corner this year. I think it's time we see if we can get like a dev trade corner, and there's 2 really, really good ones here. I might even try to just get them both. We have Tracy Smith's 2-3 turns of projection. He popped a first-rounder. The stats are decent. It's more, he's kind of like that wide receiver we got last year with the stats: A catching, C-man, D-press, D-zone. Look, absolute dog shit, which leads me to believe he has a dev trait. But I'll go right now with Leonard Sands from Oregon State. 6 feet tall, B catching, B-man, B-press, C-zone. Combine looks pretty good, 4.39 speed. The 3-cone, 20-yard shuttle look pretty acceptable. Of course, he's got to have a normal dev, so I absolutely am going to have to chase trading up to get that second corner. I straight up asked what the Saints want. They currently have the 2nd-round pick on the board. The other one, my starting defensive end, or a 2, 3, and a 6. I'll give them that because literally we don't have any other holes on our roster that I was expecting to fill with those spots. We are now instead chasing the dragon of trying to get a hidden dev corner. The last corner that went right before him, I think, it got a little close. So if we're going to get him, we got to get him here. Please don't be a normal dev. Thank you. So the rest of the draft, after we made that trade, kind of limited with the amount of investment we can make. But we got double 75 corners, Sands 75 normal, Smith 75 hidden dev. So unfortunately, that means we'll give probably Smith the first opportunity to make the most of it, but still 2 really solid players. Year 4 for the Tennessee Titans, not a lot of changes as it relates to the squad. A lot of returning faces. NPF will be our new starting right tackle, and the addition of Kadarius Toney hopefully opens up our passing game just a little bit. Defensively, well, we got 2 really good rookie corners. I'm going to give Smith the first opportunity. And other than that, man, it's the exact same defense that's been crushing it for 2 years straight. I fully expect here in year 4, playoff run, a deep one at that. So that will be our goal. Some people said, you think this actually has something to do with how you play in the sim? Setting this season goal at the beginning of the year? Something interesting to think about. All right, midway point of year 4, we are one and it's break glass in case of emergency time. We'll keep the defense. Defense has been sensational, but there's only so much. We can only feed into Derrick Henry's ego so much. We're going to have to change and try to maximize the quarterback we have under center. So we are going to go to Nick Sirianni. We're going to go West Coast power run, and let's go, man. Let's unlock our quarterback's full potential. 1 game in with the Eagles offense, 1 victory. Good start. Before we get into contract extensions, we're 2-0 since giving Malik Willis a different set of rules to play by. Let's take a look at our contract extensions. We have $60 million. So I think we can pretty much re-sign anybody that we want to at this point. Now, for guys like NPF, who's a starting right tackle, it's can we upgrade that on the open market for year 5 if this goes to a Super Bowl or bust, which is kind of trending in that direction? The answer is most likely yes. Same with Phillips. Same with Chris Barnes. St. Bobby Trees. The regression's pretty hard. I really think the only 2 guys we're going to focus on are the top 2 here. First, we have Caleb Farley at corner. Probably not going to be a whole lot of better players on the open market, so we're going to give him a 5-year. That's as much as I can give you. He has 0 interest in staying here. We'll give Malik Willis, the very player friendly. We get him locked up. I don't know what we're going to do with Farley. We're going to have to give him a little bit more money. I can't really let him go at this point of the rebuild. All right, so we gave him the very player-friendly deal, and I maxed it out a little bit more, got him locked in. So we made the right decision, I think. Now, looking back on it, we were such a bad start. Our backs were against the walls here in year 4 to turn it around and make the playoffs. But literally, like I flipped the switch on this offense. We were struggling. And then week 7, we're like, you know what? Let's see if we can utilize Malik Willis' scrambling ability a little bit more. We got 8 wins. We went 8-3 to close out the regular season. At least it gives us a little bit of hope as we go to year 5 that, you know, we properly cater the offense. And it doesn't feel like a greasy switch either, right? It's not like we had no answers. We couldn't build a good offense, so we're trying to, you know, let's make it easier by going with the putter playbook. No, we're finally just going to be like, let's look at what we can do to best maximize this ridiculous athlete we have at quarterback here. Malik Willis, 4,200 yards, 30 touchdowns, only 4 picks, protected the football very, very well. 66% completion percentage. Look at the rushing numbers. They're finally up. Imagine a full season of that. 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns. So Derrick Henry still got his, which is great. Receiving, 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. Treylon Burks. Kadarius Toney, our big money free agent signing, 874 yards, 7 touchdowns. 8-4 for Bobby Trees. 7-6 for Dawson Knox. And on the defensive side, Chris Barnes and Wentz both went over 100 total tackles. The sacks are a little bit better here this year. 18 TFLs, 14 sacks, 97 tackles for Jeffrey Simmons. Those are big-time numbers for a 3-4 defensive end. 10 sacks for Sean Gary, 6.5 McIntyre, 5.5 Payne. Ooh. Where's... Oh, Harold Landry. That's not a great year. That needs to be said. Interceptions, not particularly good either. On the yearly awards front, Mahomes is the MVP. In the AFC offensive player, there goes to Mixon. We get Khalil Mack, Shelley, Tracy Smith. Hey, there we go, our corner. Oh, shit. I mean, you know what? We got to figure out what that dev, he might be. If he was superstar, that could be an X-Factor corner. Let's be honest, he probably was most likely a star. But at least we have the expectations that our corner, hidden dev corner, should be popping a dev. Let's just see what that dev is right now before we get to the end of the season. As it stands, no one on the offense. No one got, you know, sometimes if you get offensive player of the week, defensive player of the week, you will go up dev trait in season. You can miss that. So I'm not seeing anything on offense. I'm not seeing anything on difference. Oh, he's a superstar! We are going to get an X. Was he straight up a superstar, or did he earn that? He got defensive player of the week, actually, 1 week. Oh, shit. Tracy Smith most likely is going to be an X Factor. Let's go! Come on, show me it. Show me it. Show me what I want to see. I want to see the red boy. What? Defensive Rookie of the Year loses dev trait. What? What? Not on my watch. We're not have that shit happen. I won't give him the X Factor. If you're not going to give him the X Factor, okay. Maybe not. There's no way in hell we're having that guy lose his dev trait. So we'll keep him as a superstar. Sucks that it's not an X Factor. It is what it is. Jeff Simmons is back up to a superstar. Harold Landry lost his X Factor. But, I mean, he had an absolutely abysmal season. Barnes went up from normal to a star dev. So I think we're further ahead than where we were. Kadarius Toney, unfortunately, lost his superstar. But he's still a 90 overall wide receiver. And with that new playbook going in year 5, I think he's going to be very, very good for us. So we're going to go big on the corner market. We have Trey White, who we're going to try. I think we just got him. So we're going to pair him with our superstar corner, with Caleb Farley. Just kind of complete the defense there a little bit. I will say that Jalen Ramsey was there and Deebo Samuel. I thought about both of them. Couldn't afford either one of them, unfortunately. Especially Deebo would have been great to help maybe potentially unlock the offense a little bit more. But still very happy that we got Trey White. So for our final first round pick, I think we can just add a little bit of competition here to right tackle. We got Perry Pete, baby. A awareness, A impact block, A pass block, run block. Could be a B, could be a D. Didn't fully scout him. He is a top fit for our team. Looks pretty dang good across the board. He might have a chance to be a day 1 starter for us. Looking at our final draft class, this is why it's important, guys. Set your favorites as you go throughout the season. You know, when we get to year 4, year 5, I'm not super due diligent. It's just like, all right, before, you know, the last week or 2 of the season, get the guys that look like they're going to be studs. Just heart them, and then when you sim, the computer will always kind of prioritize that. 3rd round, I mean, these guys aren't going to play, But we got hidden dev Lance Cody at tight end. We got hidden dev Gary Keys at guard, 74 hidden dev. It's so much better to at least use whatever information you have. And if you don't want to just sit through every single pick, which isn't really that long anyways, at least the computer will pick the players that you've properly identified. But our best of the bunch is Perry Pete, 74 hidden dev, right tackle out of Notre Dame. Here it is, our Year 5 Tennessee Titans Malik Willis rebuild. This is our final team. Malik Willis up to an 86 superstar, and we're hoping the new offense absolutely unlocks all of his talents here in Year 5. Derrick Henry, 97. We have Kadarius Toney, Treylon Burks, and Kenny Peel as our 3 wide receivers. Barry Gardner, Barton, Davis, and Pete make up our offensive line. So we have clearly reinvested on the offensive line throughout the drafts. 4 of our 5 starters have come through the draft. Nate Davis still doing the thing. Dawson Knox at tight end. Paid big money to get him over from the Buffalo Bills. He's been solid. Defensively, McIntyre, Payne, and Jeff Simmons make up the front 3. Landry, Cox, Wentz, and Gary make up the linebacking core. So I would say, we all said during the very beginning of this rebuild, there was a lot of work that needed to get redone, a lot of new faces that needed to get added into this Titans team, but we still kept, a good core. Simmons, Landry, got Byard and Hooker at safety, still doing the thing. Farley, Fulton in the secondary. We drafted Smith. We paid big money for Trey White to help us get over the line here this 5th and final year. So I think we've had a good balance of developing already existing players, drafting well, and spending our money wisely in free agency. Now it is time to put that all together. We're a 90 overall, 93 defense. We are going to be one of the best teams in the NFL this year. Let's win the Super Bowl. And Year 5 turns out to be very, very nice for the Tennessee Titans. We go 13-4, get another divisional title. Still needs to be said that their offensive passing yards, even going to the Eagles playbook, wasn't crazy. But again, this wasn't to make Malik Willis go from throwing 30 touchdowns to 50 touchdowns. It was, can we get an offense that still has him throw the football a respectable amount, but has him scramble? Not utilizing Malik Willis' scrambling ability was doing an injustice. Look at the defense, though. Number 1 defense. This might be the best defense we've had so far in any rebuild. Looking at the stats, we had a decent, respectable year throwing for Malik Willis. 4,300 yards, 30 touchdowns, 14 picks. The fact that he was able to chip in 600 yards rushing, 8 touchdowns, that's the stat line I think we can expect out of Malik Willis in the NFL under ideal circumstances. And I'll take that every day of the week. Derrick Henry still crushed it, 1,700 yards, 21 touchdowns, 1,300 yards, 16 tutties for Kadarius Toney, 9-6 for Dawson Knox, 8-4 for Kenny Peel, 7-3 for Treylon Burks, 400 yards, Derrick Henry out the backfield. Defensively, Jimmy Wentz, Eagles playbook going back to a Wentz here, 121 tackles for him. We got 15 sacks, Jeff Simmons, 11 for Rashawn Gary, 11 for Alonzo McIntyre, 6.5 to Ron Payne. Man, Harold Landry fell off a cliff. Has to be said. Interceptions, Trey White, who we signed to really get this team over the hump, led the team with 3 interceptions. Yearly Awards MVP goes to Dak Prescott. In the AFC, Najee Harris, TJ Watt. Man, the Steelers absolutely crushed it this year. And we had nobody winning awards, even though we were the top team. Even though we get to kick our feet up with the first round bye, we await our opponents in the divisional round. It is going to be the Titans going up against the second place AFC South Indianapolis Colts. They're pretty damn good too, 90 overall. Got that 93 offense. We got our work cut out for us, but defense wins championships. There is not a better defense in the NFL than the Tennessee Titans. You get me thinking, how the 93 offense is outrageously high. What is going on there? They got this guy, Billy McFarland at quarterback. They also have Desmond Ridder there. Jonathan Taylor, 99. Michael Pittman, Claypool, Brian Edwards. So they're just, 6'4", 6'4", 6'3". Clearly going for something. Cole Kmet, Quentin Nelson's the 99. They got James Daniels, Braden's. That's a pretty good offense. Not better than our defense, but that's a pretty damn good offense. They got a basketball team out there. Our dark corners aren't really the tallest, all things considered, but there's levels to this, man. There's levels to this. Oh, you guys are pretty good offensively? All right. Well, we'll put up 45, and then we're only going to give you 14 points in garbage time in the 4th quarter when the game's already out of reach. Malik Willis absolutely crushed it with his 3 touchdowns, no picks. Derrick Henry, they had no answer, could not stop him, 167 yards, 3 touchdowns. He also had 74 yards catching and a touchdown. So there is your absolute dominant monster. Jeff Simmons, 3 sacks. McIntyre got involved. Harold Landry dropping back into coverage now, getting some picks as the Titans move on to the AFC Championship game. Super foggy night. It's raining. We're gonna play the moments here. We're gonna help them. Also, I just really want to play with Malik Willis. That's another thing that I want to do. But I think we can handle it. The Bengals are a 90 overall, though. They are a really well-built team. I'm not expecting a blow-up, but I am expecting a victory and at least a chance for the Titans here to go on and win a Super Bowl. Let's see if we can get an opportunity to hop in here next time we get stalled out on third down. 3rd and 4. We got a Y sail. We can try to hit Dawson Knox here. Maybe scramble the pocket. Maybe hit Derrick Henry. Oh, yeah, I forgot. You don't have escape riders. Good luck. Good luck scrambling. And you guys know Escape Riders is an X-Factor ability now? I didn't know that. Oh, they actually get the first down. They get the touchdown. The computer is a better player at this game than I am. Shocking. I'm going to get a touchdown before this game's out, though. Oh, my God. The instant touchdown from the Bengals. This went from a game that was kind of getting out of hand to the Bengals tied it up. 4th quarter, everything to play for here. Okay, now let's be respectable here. Let's move these chains. Let's go on a drive. Let's get a touchdown. Let's go to the Super Bowl. Malik Willis yet to throw a touchdown here today. Clearly been the Derrick Henry show. Get off me. Look, it's just like man versus children out there. It's like when you see the mascots go up against the youth football at the halftime show. That's what it's like every time Derrick Henry comes up the middle of the field. So that blocking. Actually, pretty good tackle, all things considered there by the Bengals. Come on, Derrick. We made Malik Willis a feature guy, but come on, you're freaking Derrick Henry, dude. Get us to the Super Bowl. If we're going to the Super Bowl, if me and Malik Willis is 99 X Factor, it was going to be down to Derrick Henry. So we get the go-ahead touchdown, a minute to go. And the number 1 defense in the NFL gives up 48 points. The number 1 defense. The best defense we've built so far in the rebuild. By far. No weaknesses. With the Super Bowl on the line. Gives up 48 points. Fucking brutal. That's so fucking bad. There's no other way to put it. That's like literally, if I was a 12-year-old, I didn't know swear words. That would be my response. So fucking bad. Well, Titans rebuild. I mean, I think this is our 2nd rebuild ever for Madden 23 that we didn't win a Super Bowl in. So, I'll mark down the Titans from the 2nd run through on the different rebuilds. It's one that we want to at least bring home a Super Bowl in that one. Make the switch playbook wise. I mean, Malik Willis was fine to good. I think he got the superstar dev early. 21,000 passing yards, 155 touchdowns, 55 picks, 65% completion percentage. Didn't dominate, didn't turn into, an MVP candidate by any means, but he was a good player. Derrick Henry absolutely crushed it. Obviously, a lot of those stats are before we took over, but Hall of Famer, easy. On the receiving end, Treylon Burks. We signed Tony, so did a lot of that with the Giants. But Treylon Burks, 5,200 receiving yards, 28 touchdowns. He kind of underwhelmed. Not at any point did he go up dev trait, which was a little surprising. Defensively, as far as I'm trying to think guys that we drafted and wasn't really a whole lot. McIntyre, I suppose, 179 tackles, 38 TFLs, 25.5 sacks for him. Jeff Simmons finishes with 83 TFLs, 55 sacks. Landry finishes with 63.5 sacks. He was really good, and then he cooled off really, really badly. Final couple years of the rebuild. Byard finishes 29 picks, 14 picks for Hooker, 11 for Fulton, 9 from Caleb Farley. It was just, I don't know, man. I just think, honestly, we decided in this rebuild that our defense was going to be our priority. We spent a lot of money on the defensive side of the ball in free agency, bringing in Rashawn Gary, bringing in Tre'Davious White, and Drawn Payne. And then push comes to shove, moment of truth, biggest moment of the rebuild. This defense that we've just funneling all of our resources to, that we built into a 95 overall, which I think across the board is the best defense we've had yet in any of the rebuild teams. And they give up 48 points in the AFC Championship game. You know? It's just, it happens sometimes, I guess. You know, a lot of times, you see it countless times in the NFL, right? Where we have, one of the best defenses in the NFL and they give up 50 points. Like, it happens all the time. And I guess it was our turn to, unfortunately, face the wrath of that. All right, well, that'll do it for today's rebuild, fellas. As always, 1,000 likes a goal to make me not depressed. Leave a comment in the comment section below about what teams you want to see rebuilt next. I've seen a lot of Patriots love. I've seen some Texans. People want to see that out there. So we got some options for sure, but keep on suggesting in there. Helps with the YouTube robots. Helps out my channel, and I greatly appreciate it. That will do it for me today, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you back on the next one. Peace out. Love ya.